Hello. I'm wanting to reinstate my pond. Now I've had this about 4 years. I set it up, it's actually had a couple of lives. I set it up 4 years ago and I did an extensive video on that, which I can put the link at the end if you want to watch it. And it was set up sort of kind of behind me and it did really well. But then I remodelled the whole of the garden and it had to be moved. So my decision at the time was to put it at the end of this path so that you could see it from the house. I thought it would be a focal point, but what I didn't envisage was when the summer house doors were open, it actually covered it and you didn't get to see it at all. And it actually became quite a shady area and it didn't do very well at all. In fact, I got a really bad outbreak of blanket weed and no matter what I did, I couldn't get rid of it. So I dismantled it all and it's been empty since, I think, mid-autumn. So I've now filled it up with rainwater from the water butt. I've put a solar fountain in there so that I can keep the water moving to try and stop the algae building up. But I'm really struggling at the moment to source any plants. I've been to 2 aquatic centres and a garden centre and there's hardly any plants available at the moment. So I've got one which is a marsh marigold, and in the overflow is some creeping jenny which has been there from the beginning. It just keeps coming back, so I think that overflow gets damp and it's just enough for the roots to survive. So hopefully over the next few weeks I might be able to get some more plants to put in there, and then we'll have a working wildlife pond again. Right, let's see what we're going to get up to today. So I'm in the greenhouse because I need to do some more sowings. So I want to do my sweet corn today. This is Swift and this is pretty reliable. I grow it most years. The last couple of years I've actually tried Rising Sun, but I've run out of that seed and I had plenty of the Swift. So we're going to go back to Swift. And I'm also going to have a go at this. I'm going to sow a couple of these. The Yukikuri, that's probably not pronounced correctly, but I only want 2 plants, so I'm just going to sow a few seeds and see what comes up. Now I've discovered that I've run out of potting mix, so I think I'm just going to make my own. So I've got a little bit of seedling compost, which is really fine. And I think I'm going to mix it with some of my own compost from the compost bin. And that should be good enough for my sweet corn in particular, because they're going to go in these pots and they're not going to be transplanted anymore or pricked out and potted on any more than that. They'll go straight into the garden, probably mid to end of May. Now, look at this. This is lovely. There's a couple of stones in there. I'm not quite sure why. But that's mostly broken down. So let's get some of that. You can always sieve it. So this is my compost. It's all been sieved and it's beautifully fine. There's a few little bits in there that haven't broken down, but it's mostly ideal. So let's add some seedling compost. Let's mix this up. So this is the first one I'm going to sow. So these are my seeds. Now, with seeds like this, so all your squash and your gourds, so courgettes, it's recommended that you sow the seeds on this side so that they don't rot. So push it into the compost, twice the depth of the size of the seed. Push that right in. I'm going to do 3 of these. I only want 2 plants and we'll see what comes up. So this is a sweet corn. Right, got 15 to do of those. I'll make sure they've got good contact with the soil, and then I'll give them a good watering. So they've all had a good drink. I'm not entirely sure how long squash take to germinate, but the sweet corn is usually between 7 and 21 days. So I'm hopeful that as each day is getting a little bit warmer, and it's certainly warmer in the greenhouse, that there may be something showing by the end of next week. So I'm just taking a well-earned break just to enjoy this absolutely gorgeous weather. It is beautiful at the moment, a bit different from yesterday. Yesterday was really overcast, it was cold and it was windy, and I think I spent most of my time when I was out in the garden actually in the greenhouse to try and keep warm. But today is a whole different story. So the fact that it is so bright and lovely today, I thought I would take you around the garden and give you an old-fashioned plot tour. So I thought I'd start over here because the rose has transformed over the last couple of weeks. You could still see most of the fence, but now, I mean, it's just absolutely bulked up, and if I get closer, the first flower buds are starting to form. But I've also noticed this as well. Look at these. So I need to deal with that. But otherwise, it's looking really healthy. Now, below the rose is my rhubarb. We've got some lovely, lovely healthy stems coming. But what I found this morning, and if you've got the same, this is a rhubarb flower head. Now, if you see any of these, you need to remove them. Go down as far as you can and take them out. You don't want them bolting. And I think it's because we've had about a month of really dry weather and then a lot of rain, which has put them under stress. So that is a typical stress response. And if you followed me for a while, you'll know that I dug up and split my rhubarb. So this is 2 pieces that I put back. I think it was the winter before last. Now last year I didn't harvest any, I just let it redevelop its roots. But this year, in fact now, I can start harvesting. So I think I shall be making a rhubarb crumble this week. Now my Kent blue peas I put in just over a week ago. This net that's on the frame at the moment is just a temporary measure while the plants are still very young, just in case the pigeons take a fancy to them. They don't usually bother me too much because I feed them every day. These are putting on some growth now. They were only tiny plants to about here when I put them in, so they've doubled in height. So they're looking really healthy and very good. And then if I walk around, so these are all the meteor, and again they're all looking pretty good. So the strawberries have got their first flowers. So they've settled in really, really nicely. These three here are Sweetheart. The remainder are Cambridge Favourite. So directly behind my strawberries is my first allium bed. So this is my main onions. So this is the Senshi and I think it's Autumn Gold. And then if I come across to this bed, these are the garlic. Now I've noticed quite a lot of them have split into two, which is a bit curious. So this is Topodrome. They're looking nice. I've got red onions in the middle, they're all flopping over. I think they need a good watering, although we did have some rain. Next to the red onion are the Germador garlic. And that is all looking nice and strong. And the honeysuckle's gone crazy, look at that. It's still, the leaves are looking healthy, there's no powdery mildew. But I'm spraying it every couple of days with SB Plant Invigorator just as a precaution. But it's looking nice and healthy. Now these are my garlic chives. I've tried removing them in the past, but they just keep coming back. But now I actually really like them there, so I won't even try removing them. But one of the reasons I like them is they have beautiful flowers in the summer, which the bees and hoverflies love. But if I ever get flea beetle again, they will hone in on this and it will be an indication if I've got them in the garden. But they're lovely and clean. I can't see any signs of them, and I didn't see any last year. So I think the outbreak that I had 2 summers ago might be the one and only. Fingers crossed. So when I said some plants are really bulking up, these are my leeks. These were sown in September, and some of them are really quite thick now. I'll be able to take some of them out soon. I believe these are Jolant. And right at the front are the 4 elephant garlic from Danny from the Grow Up channel. And they really have put some growth on the last few weeks. Now I have to say I'm really chuffed with the broad beans. It was the first time growing them in the root trainers, and they just look so lush. They're doing so well, and considering it's a second sowing because I lost all my overwintering ones, these look absolutely fabulous. Now you may remember a couple of weeks ago me sitting in the greenhouse sowing these carrot seeds. Well, a lot of them have come up now. So to the right of this tub, those 2 rows are the Harlequin. So they're all the different colours. And on the left side is the Amsterdam Forcing 3. That was old seed, so not all of them have come up, but there's a few. And then at the back is all the Autumn King. My raspberries, I'll be honest with you, I thought I'd lost them. They didn't seem to do anything at all for weeks and weeks, and then all of a sudden they've gone absolutely bonkers. So I need to get in there and sort that out, because I think there's a lot of runners that I don't need. The fig has now got some leaves on it. But let me show you the apple. The apple seems to have leafed up overnight. I just didn't even see it happen. And I've got the first blossom. And this is the herb garden. Now I do have a few more jobs to do in the greenhouse, but all this that was pricked out last week are flourishing. The tomatoes are really romping away now. In fact, I did notice this morning that these are going to need repotting soon. Look, the roots are coming through already. Another couple of weeks maybe. So yeah, all this is doing really, really well. The celeriacs come up. I've got a couple of celery. My sweet peas need to go out now. They were pinched out just over a week ago and they've bushed up. I need to harden off the cosmos and the marigolds and get them out in the garden. So these all need pricking out. I've done, I picked 4 of my best Calabos cabbage because I've only got room for 4, and I've taken a couple of the kohlrabi. Let me show you what I've done with them. So they've been potted on now, but I've got work tomorrow and Saturday, so it won't be till Sunday before I can come back out here and do the next lot of jobs. But we're greening up, and hopefully this time next week there'll be beans up and perhaps a sweet corn and even the squash. Oh, and the courgettes as well. It is such a busy time in the garden this time of year. Everywhere you look, something needs some attention, whether it's cutting back, trimming up, tying in, weeding, watering, pricking out, potting on, planting out. It's just never ending, but we love it. So what jobs are you prioritising at the moment? Leave me a comment below and let me know what you've been up to. And if you're new to my channel, why not consider subscribing? So happy gardening everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm Annie and this is my kitchen garden.